Hey guys, Katie here, and today I'm reviewing the final book in the Split World series. It's called All Is Fair by Emma Newman. I'm going to try my best to make this as spoiler-free as possible, which I'm sure is very difficult for a final book in a series, but this book has convinced me that this series is fantastic, so I do want to review it. I do want to talk a little bit about what makes it so great. If you didn't see my last review of the first two books in the Split World series, I will link them below and check them out if you're thinking about it, or maybe before you watch this video if you're planning to watch this video. That one's longer, but this one should be shorter. The gist of the series is about a woman named Kathy who grows up in this place called the Nether. It's one of the two split worlds. Everyone who lives there, of course that isn't a servant, is very rich, and it's very Regency or like Victorian England, one of the two, all about manners and status and money and things like that. She's grown up there and then she runs away and then she's brought back, and the story is about her being forced to marry a man named William from another big family and kind of trying to figure out a way out because of course she doesn't want to live there. What makes this book so great is this is the point where Kathy realizes that running away only solves her problems and in many ways makes problems for more people. That's pretty incredible because throughout the entire series she's very stubbornly choosing to run and save herself at the expense of others, even though there are some people that she cares about in the Nether. From there, the story becomes surprisingly feminist, and it's really interesting to see that in a fantasy novel. You know, the main character is a woman and she's seeking out other women in the Nether, outside of their society even, who believe that women should have rights, that their society should be different, and all of that. So very interesting and I think unique. Aside from that, there's a series-wide mystery that's been going on about someone stealing people from outside of the Nether, and the agency that supplies all the servants and whatnot inside of the Nether has been doing some really shady things, and it's pretty sick actually. But that all comes to a final conclusion in this book. The story of Max the Arbiter, I talked about him a little bit in my last review, is just, it's interesting and there are cool things happening there, but it's kind of complicated and I'm never really sure if I should think of Max as a good guy or a bad guy, which maybe is a good thing. But like I said, the ending of that story is pretty abrupt and there's no clues as to who this person is, and they're not someone that you know about, so that's really weird. There's a character who begins the series as kind of a normal guy in mundanus, and throughout the series he becomes something much more, and he's important towards the end. His name is Sam, and oh my gosh, he's such a great character and I love everything about him. So I'm really glad in this book that he kind of got more attention and that his character changed a lot. Sam's story is just one of the many threads of little stories throughout the series that tie into what the bigger story is. I really enjoyed that, and I think Sam is an incredible character. There are like fae or fairies in this. They're the really mischievous evil kind, and they're not like happy little fairies flying around. So if you don't like fairies, don't worry. They will not be fairyish. All in all, I think this is a really great conclusion to the series, and as I said, it convinced me that it's definitely a series worth recommending to people. The story's really exciting, a lot happens in this book, and it doesn't stop. It's really fast-paced, which of course I enjoy. I thought the first book was so difficult because the pace was so slow and I wasn't sure where it was going and nobody seemed to be progressing, but over the course of the second and third books you get a lot of character development and the plot picks up, and the world is pretty different from other urban fantasies that I've read. I've read a couple of those. Once again, what makes this incredibly unique for me is that this is the first non-YA urban fantasy I've ever read. The ending was not, I would say, very conclusive. There's definitely room for more books if Emma Newman decides to write them, and in some ways I hope it stays a trilogy because sometimes it's good to know when to stop. I really like Emma Newman's writing. I like the world she created and the characters she created, even though some of them are infuriating. So keep your eyes peeled for her. She's pretty great. So I guess I would recommend this series definitely to anyone who enjoys urban fantasy, and especially if you're looking for a good urban fantasy about someone over the age of 18. So that's about it for today. I hope that this review was helpful to you and that you'll read it if you want to. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to read the series, or if you've started it, or if you know of any other books that are similar to it. I would love to know. So I will see you guys later. Bye.